Hello and welcome to the 16th episode of Pedz Game Shack. Today we're going to be talking about a few games and I have a new guest who goes by Retro Cora.
Hello.
How you doing, dude?
I'm not bad. How are you doing, more importantly?
Yeah, I'm doing well. Not much going on, just chilling out, watching D&D stuff.
Good. Excellent.
For those who don't know the format of the podcast, we normally have three sections, which is currently playing, top news, and we play together. But today we have I've not really seen any news that I thought would be interesting enough to talk about. So we drop in top news and just talking about currently playing and then the game of the episode. So we'll start with currently playing. And I would like to know, Cora, what are you currently playing?
I am currently playing GoldenEye. For the first time in over 20 years. I've been kind of what little time I've had over the weekend. I've been spending going through that.
How are you finding it? Going back, does it hold up?
I think it does. The controls have been kind of rejigged a little bit to make it more modern.
Yeah.
So like there's twin stick and stuff like that. And it makes the game a little bit easier, but it keeps it playable, and it's still enough of a challenge that, having played it for a few hours over the weekend, I've still got a couple of things left to do, and there's still bits of it that are really quite irritatingly tricky. Like, there are design things that don't hold up because it's 25, 26 years old, and
Yeah.
it's one of the first major console FPSs and stuff like that. Like, infinitely respawning enemies and stuff in some levels are just insanely difficult to deal with. But I think as long as you take it as a game of its time, you'll have a good time with it. Like, you're not going to go too far wrong. You can play it in short bursts. You don't have to spend loads and loads of time on it. It's a nice retro experience. I'm on the Xbox as well, not the Switch.
Ah, you're playing it on the Xbox. There's no online with that, is there?
No, I think the trade-off is that it's kind of HDified a little bit more than the Switch version. But yeah, there's no online for it. I do have it on the Switch though, so if anyone, like, if there are ever online games happening, I can always just boot that up.
It's quite shocking though. It's like, yeah, you either get online or you get up-res visuals, and maybe better performance. I don't know, but you think they would just be like, yeah, just put it online for everyone.
You would think that. I don't know what, like, the whole thing has been so weirdly fraught. Like, I don't know what's happened with, because, like, obviously there was the XBL, the Xbox Live Arcade version was due to come out in 2009, and that got kind of nixed for whatever reason. And I don't know if it's online on the Switch because it already has the architecture set up and stuff like that, and there's maybe been a deal done or what. I don't know. But you would think that the Xbox would have online as standard because, it's kind of one of the oldest selling points of the Xbox brand, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly. It's quite shocking. I'm guessing, like you said, it must have been some sort of deal, and
I would think so.
it must be like, oh well, at the end of the day, you're gonna get a better version of the game, so we'll keep the online for us so that people will be interested in our version of the game as well, so to speak.
Yeah, maybe. I know that like, this is a weird thing, right? But the Switch version, I don't know if you ever heard about the push button codes for GoldenEye.
No.
No. So, right at the end of the N64's lifespan, Rare kind of came out and said, we, like, nobody had found these cheats. So basically, on the N64, there's a way that you can start the game up. Like, you go into a level, and then you can use there's like push button codes to set up a cheat.
Yeah.
So, like, there'll be a push button code for, like, invincibility or whatever it is, and then you can just blast through the level, and it doesn't count as putting the cheat on. So if you want to finish on Double O Agent or whatever, you can use these push button codes to do it.
That's cool.
Yeah, and they are still in effect on the Switch version. They still exist, they're still usable, but they've been mapped out to the Switch's controls. But they don't they haven't been transferred across to the Xbox version, so you can't do it on the Xbox if you want to sneakily get achievements or whatever. You have to do it properly.
I wonder if that's because of the achievements, or if
I
it's
don't know.
because.
Yeah, it's such an odd thing. I don't know if maybe the Xbox version's running off the Xbox Live Arcade architecture or something, but it's just an interesting, really minor difference between the two games.
Yeah, it's a strange one. I wouldn't have thought they'd remove it, but unless they are like, yeah, you can't cheat for the achievements. Because I know you can use cheats in other games. Not so much cheats, but
Yeah,
like, say, like Crackdown, you can use like keys to the city mode and play through the game, but you don't get no achievements for it and things like that.
it really depends on the maker of the game whether or not they let kind of cheats work for achievements and stuff like that. Because I remember back in the early days of the 360 when I was hunting for achievements, there were games where you could just push button codes and then get 1,000 points in like half an hour.
That's just
Um,
cheating, man.
yeah, it's great though. Uh, like there were also games where it was just like they obviously didn't really take the achievements into account, so you just like the kind of infamous Avatar
Yeah,
Last
yeah.
Airbender game where you could do it in 5 minutes flat and then just hand the game back. Um, but yeah, I guess maybe they've just kind of been like, right, well, we want people to kind of go through the challenge as it was intended. And to be fair, like it's not easy. It's still a very tricky game in places, even now, 25, 26 years later.
Yeah, I guess there's the whole um difficulty increase in the sense of things get harder to kill and kill you easier, on top of added objectives from higher difficulties.
Yeah, it's nice to go back to that. Like you don't get too much of that in first person shooters nowadays. And that was
No.
always my preferred way to play, like mission based, objective based shooters. I think there's a place for that. And I'm hoping that GoldenEye does well enough that people kind of see that and are like, right, well, we'll make a few more of these.
Well,
Um,
you'd hope with the new Perfect Dark that is meant to be coming, don't know if it is, that you would get that kind of system back in place.
it would be nice, wouldn't it? But
Yeah.
something happened with that recently. I think one of the lead developers stepped down or something like that.
Yeah. We never see in
Um,
these games that have been announced, do we?
Nah, it'll come. It'll come in like 2026. It may end up being vaporware actually, because I remember reading that the Perfect Dark Studio it's like they want a AAA game, but the
Yeah.
initiative who are making it only have about 50 people on staff.
Oh.
So it's going to be, if they're pushing it deadlines and stuff like that, it's going to be a whole mess.
Can't be any worse than Zero.
Well, that's true. Well, I always think Zero gets a right bad rap, man. The game is shit, right? I'm not going to defend the game, but the online multiplayer with the right people was an awful lot of fun.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Did you play it? I'm sure I remember playing it with you.
Well, the online multiplayer?
Yeah,
Yeah, back when we all used to play Infection, I think it was.
yeah.
On Games
Way back
Radar.
in the
Yeah, fucking. I remember I remember HSH getting the game to play because everyone was saying, yeah, get it, the game's bad. Like the online side of things is quite fun. And he absolutely hated it.
Oh, buddy. I always remember playing it with Aaron Ale and Ouija Bobo,
Yeah.
and it was just like he was a wind up merchant, and I was like 15 and very easily wound up, and it just ended up being the most frustrating experience in the world. But it was fun. Like it was the first time I'd properly played online, and it was nice to actually be in like 8 versus 8 matches. So as crap as the game is, I've got fond memories of it. That was the point at which Rare kind of fell off a cliff as well. Like they'd done really well up until that point, and then that was just the start of a complete decline.
Yeah, they like there's some games that came out that I enjoy. Like I like Viva Pinata. That's
Yeah,
fun. I didn't like what I played of but Nuts and Bolts. Cameo was fine, but I think that came out first, didn't it? Before Perfect Dark
I
Zero.
think they came out at the same time, didn't they? I think were they both launch games for the 360?
Yeah, I think they were. Yeah,
I played Cameo much later. So I played
yeah.
Cameo for the first time in like 2019.
Oh, I wasn't that late for me. It's a couple of years later.
And I remember kind of thinking, this is fun, but it's not like it feels like because I vaguely remember Cameo was a GameCube game, and then Rare got bought out, and it like the development was really like all over the place.
Hmm.
And I remember thinking that it really showed in the game, which was a shame because it was a 7 out of 10 game where if they'd had a bit more time, it could have been like a 9 out of 10 game.
Yeah, I would agree actually, but then again, I haven't played it since like 2009, something like that. So it's been a while.
Yeah,
Yeah, I don't know. Obviously, Rare are not behind the new Perfect Dark game.
no,
Um, but maybe they'd get some input on it. Tell them, oh, we want this system because like the objective basis of mission objectives where they increase with the higher difficulty. There's not a lot of games like I think GoldenEye, Perfect Dark, and then maybe the Time Splitters games.
the Time Splitters games were very much in that mold. And then I don't really know, like there were a few I don't want to say lesser games, but there were a few like less famous games that came out that just weren't kind of. I think they just didn't hit the mark in the same way that GoldenEye and Perfect Dark and Time Splitters did.
Hmm.
I love Time Splitters. Time Splitters is the second one is one of the best shooting like FPS games you'll ever see.
Yeah, I think I got them on my Xbox. I bought the Xbox version on the Xbox Series X to play them at some point. I just haven't got around to it. Like
Can you
2 and
do
3.
that?
Yeah, Time Splitters 2 and Time Splitters Future Perfect is on there.
Oh man, I did not know that. I'm
Yeah, when I bought
genuinely
them, I
going
think
to
they're
do
on
that
offer
right
for like
now.
3 quid, 2 quid,
Oh,
3
that's
quid.
mad.
I think they were on offer anyway. They might have been that price anyway.
I'm going to have a wee look and see once we're finished here. I love Time Splitters. Like any console I can get it on and show support, I will do that because I just desperately want a Time Splitters 4.
Yeah,
Um,
well, there was rumours about a Time Splitters. I'm not sure if it was like not reboot, like a remake of Time Splitters 2 or something with Crytek, and then it just never happened.
yeah, it just kind of disappeared, didn't it?
Yeah, because I think they own the rights for it now. Maybe.
Yeah, so it went it went in such a weird place. So like Free Radical developed it. It was published by like IDOS, I think maybe. Like the second one
Yeah.
was IDOS and the third one was EA, and then the whole thing went kind of arse over elbow, and it went all over the place, and it ended up with those. There was a company, I'm sure, that used to make like they used to like explicitly buy up IPs.
Yeah.
Because I'm sure they had and re-released the Turok games as well, but I can't remember what they're called. Like something THQ Nordic maybe.
Oh, THQ Nordic, I know, yeah.
They had it for a while, and then I think they offloaded it to Crytek or whoever's got it now, and it's just in limbo.
You think they would do something with it because it was a popular franchise, but then again, I don't know. Hard to judge because you'd think a lot of people would be interested in getting a new game. A lot of people. But at the
Yeah,
same time, they probably thinking, is it going to be worth investing in it? And then it flops and we lose money because, that's probably what they're thinking.
it's
In a
such a
business.
saturated. Yeah, it's such a saturated market as well. Like there must be so many. There must be so many. Like similar things coming on at the market at any time that it's just even though it's got a bit of name recognition, bringing it out now would just be like getting lost in a sea of other similar games. At least
Yeah.
with GoldenEye, it's like this is an iconic game based on an iconic film license. Everyone will want to play this, but I don't know if Time Splitters would have that kind of. that recognition. Because Perfect Dark did that as well. They re-released that in 2009, and it just kind of came out, and everyone was like, "Whoa!" and then it just vanished.
Yeah, Perfect Dark was really good though. I played through it not too long ago on the the Xbox 360 version, and I really enjoyed my time with it.
I love Perfect. Like, it's to this day, it's one of my favorite games. Like top 3 all time, I would say.
Yeah, I'm definitely a Perfect Dark is better than GoldenEye kind of guy.
Agreed. No arguments here.
I'm glad, because otherwise, I would be very upset with you.
Very fair. Very fair. I would appreciate the upset as well, because it's, I don't know, like Perfect Dark it felt like it improved on GoldenEye in every way,
Yeah.
but because it didn't have the GoldenEye license or like the James Bond license, it just kind of. I remember reading somewhere like GoldenEye sold like 8 or 9 million copies, but Perfect Dark only did 1.5 million, which is a shame because it's brilliant. I love the sci-fi setting. The multiplayer's brilliant. The single player's really strong. It's just a really good package.
Yeah. Agreed. The thing is, I think it had a worse frame rate than GoldenEye, didn't it? So that probably didn't help.
God, yeah. If you put too many explosions on the screen, it would turn into a slideshow at points.
Damn good game, though.
Oh, God, yeah. Playing it on the Xbox, especially, all the frame rate stuff's gone, so you've just got the game as it was intended.
Yeah. Can't remember what I was going to say now.
Nope, sorry, I kind of cut across you there, sorry.
No, that's fine. Have you been playing anything else other than GoldenEye?
The only thing I've been kind of going through over the last month or so is Midnight Suns.
Oh, I remember you mentioning that you'd bought it.
Yeah, it's really, really good.
What kind of game is it then?
So have you played the XCOM games?
Yes.
So it's made by Fireaxis, who make the XCOM games, and it's kind of like XCOM Light almost. So you pick, like, you've kind of you pick your team. So you've got, X amount of heroes, and then a few are unlockable and stuff like that. You pick your team, and then you go into the fight scene. But instead of it being, so in XCOM, you've got the Marines, and you move them around the map,
Yeah,
and stuff like that. Like that's gone, so it's just the combat. And instead of using guns and kind of aiming weaponry and stuff like that, there are like ability cards that you draw, and you use them instead of the weaponry. But the actual kind of core mechanics of the game are very XCOM-y. And when you're kind of back in your base, like you can still do all of the upgradey stuff. You build relationships between the characters and friendships and stuff like that. And it's a really fun, like weirdly wholesome game. Like I went fishing with Spider-Man at one point. It was just like a lot of fun. And I wasn't expecting much from it because I remember seeing about all the card mechanics and being like, this does not sound up my street. That people, like, when it came out, a couple of my friends got it and were like, you need to buy this now. And I got it, and I haven't looked back. I think I kind of smashed through it in 1 week, and I've gone back and just been very slowly going through the new game plus stuff because I'm probably not doing it justice, but I would strongly recommend it if you like XCOM or Marvel or both. It's worth having a look. And the voice
isn't it really pricey though?
It's dear. If you get a digital copy, it's dear. But I would suspect that within the next couple of months, it will probably go down quite significantly. It feels like one of those games where like they kind of ambitiously launch it, thinking they've got a Marvel license and be like, "Ah, 60 quid," and then because it's an XCOM game and XCOM games are like notoriously niche, after the initial wave of Marvel sales, it will just plummet. So if you're interested, I would maybe wait until mid-year and then pick it up at a premium price. But yeah, it's a really strong. Like they've obviously put a lot of production into it. Like they've got top tier. The voice talent is insane. The game runs really well. It's got a couple of weird glitches, but I think that's just like all of the XCOM games kind of do that, and I don't know what the hell's up the engine that they use, but it just is what it is.
Yeah.
But it's
So
like really strong.
XCOM has characters who die and then stay dead. Does that happen in this?
No. So like that's the one major kind of like, other than the cards coming in, the one major thing is that you're playing as Marvel superheroes, so you can't have them die.
They do die though. They just get
Well, they
brought
do.
back somehow.
They do, but
in the comics and that.
can you imagine doing that and then having to like go through this really complex resurrection process every time you lose a hero?
True.
No, if your HP goes down, your hero gets knocked out, and if they get hit hard enough, they get injured, and the injury can last, for X amount of, so it'll last for like a couple of days. So like every day you wake up, you do your kind of management stuff, and then you go out on a mission, and then you come back and you hang out with you can then kind of hang out with the heroes and explore the grounds of the mansion that you live in and stuff like that. So if a hero gets injured, they'll miss like a few days of worth of cycles, and you can't use them for missions and stuff like that. And it can cause problems because like story missions are set up around specific heroes. So like one story mission will be like you have to take Iron Man, or there'll be a story mission where you have to take Spider-Man or whatever, and if they're injured, you just can't do that until they're healed. So it's like it has an impact, and getting injured and stuff has an impact. It's just not quite as soul destroying as when you're kind of right at the end of an XCOM game and you lose your colonel, who you've been nurturing for like 45 missions, and he's like a combat veteran with 140 kills, and then he just the dice roll goes against you and he's dead. It's not quite as brutal as that. I don't think that would work so well in a mat because it's kind of, I guess it's got to be kind of all age friendly, and that's maybe not. So it's different but similar to XCOM.
Yeah.
I think.
One thing that I really like about XCOM, it's like GIFs you see online mainly, or GIFs as some weirdos say.
I'm a GIF man.
I'm a GIF man too. Basically, it'll show like a soldier right up against one of the alien thingies, and they'll just go, and they just completely miss, and it's like right in his face, like how the hell do you miss all those shots?
It's when you go up to them and you're literally right in front of them, and it's like 70% chance to hit. It's like, what is this guy doing? Is he aiming the gun to the right or something? Like, what the fuck? But XCOM it's a game that plays to its own set of rules, and I kind of love that it's completely unflinching about stuff like that.
It's like it's just brilliant. You see them shooting them, and it's like they miss every single shot from this machine gun, and it's like, how did you miss it? It was standing right there, right in front of them.
It's like the most XCOM thing that could possibly happen as well.
Yeah.
Anyone who's played XCOM has had that experience. I love it.
Yeah, I don't think I've played XCOM. I got it, but I've not played it. So, like Enemy Unknown, the more modern versions of it. I think I've got the older ones as well, actually, on Steam.
If you've not played new XCOM, you must start with the first one if you're going to do it, because the second one if you play the second one, you won't want to go back to the first one, basically. So if you do decide to go through them, I would go through them like XCOM 1, XCOM 2. I swear by them. Like XCOM, the first XCOM remains probably in my top 10 of all time, because it's so moreish. Like the core gameplay loop is just phenomenal, and the attachments that you build with the soldiers and stuff like that. I never played the original XCOM, so I can't really speak to whether or not that's a thing there. But the new one, I remember having a soldier and genuinely being at the point of tears when he gets shot, 2 missions before the end of the game. I've never had that with a game before.
totally devastated by the.
Oh my god, yeah. I still remember it like it was my sniper. And do you know that? Do you know that way? I was like, I can go back and load an earlier save. I'm going to be that guy. It's fine. And then I realised that my last save was like 6 missions before, so I had to choose between like 6 hours of progress or
Oh.
have my guy alive, and it was awful. But yeah, like definitely, if you've not played the newer ones, definitely give them a shout. The first one's a wee bit janky now, I think, just because it's like 10 years old, but it's still like utterly playable and really, really good.
Yeah, I'll have to have a look.
Do it.
Definitely.
I would like to see you stream one. Actually, I think that would be a lot of fun.
Yeah, could name the soldiers after viewers and stuff.
Yeah, absolutely. Then
And
the
then
attachment becomes really real. It's like, oh no, like Retro Cora has died.
someone who was doing a thread on the forum, wasn't there, with that?
Yeah, I remember. Was it Preezy?
Yeah, I think it was Preezy, and I'm sure like I was in the team, and I had a nickname that was like something stupid, like it wasn't cannon fodder, but I'm going to say that, but it was the same kind of thing. That was the character's nickname. I was like, wait, what?
I'm gonna have a wee look and see if I can find it quickly. Because I remember that being mad fun, and I think I died after like 18 missions. Here we are. Preezy's G Arcade XCOM 2 Odyssey. Did you die or did you stay alive?
I think I only did 1 or 2 missions because I
Oh
don't
no,
think he went back to her.
you were Lieutenant DOA Pedz.
That's the one. Dead on arrival.
I was Lieutenant Hoss. Retro Cora, and I died as a well, a grenadier, whatever that is. I think that's the what is that? Is that the like the ranger ones? I don't know. Anyway,
Yeah. DOA Pedz.
DOA Pedz. You should just start calling yourself that. What's your name? I'm DOA Pedz.
Dead on arrival. It's a great one to have, isn't it?
It's just not a military nickname you would want at all, is it?
No.
I love it.
So we've spoken about a few games so far, so we'll move over to the game we are both playing, which is We Play Together. The section is called segment, whatever you want to call it, and the game we've been playing is an Xbox Game Pass game. I'm not sure if it's on other platforms. It probably is. I don't know, but we were playing it on Game Pass because we both have it, and it's called Ghost Song. What are your thoughts on Ghost Song?
I'm a couple of hours in now. I got like the delay in starting was good because I got a bit more time on it just before we came on there.
Yeah.
And I don't honestly know how I feel about it. So like I did a bit of research and stuff like that, and I can see that it's really highly rated. It's like 9 out of 10 on various ratings websites and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And I like if I'm in the mood for a Metroidvania, I really enjoy it.
Yeah.
But with this one, I don't know. I think like the vibe is really good. The music is excellent. Like I really enjoyed the music, even from the start. It's very ambient. It's very cool.
Yeah, music's great.
But I struggle, like, and this is probably more a me thing than the game, like than the game's fault. But I struggle at the moment with games where I'm not given any kind of direction from the start. So you're just kind of planked down next to your spaceship, and it's like off you go, wander around, and that's cool. But I found myself getting frustrated because I would just be kind of dropping about things. I have no idea what I'm looking for. Like I don't really know what kind of what items are good and what items are bad or anything like that. There's no there's only a very brief explanation of how the game works. And like I went left instead of right at the start and found this guy who just wasted me.
Oh, you went left.
Yeah.
Start. Yeah.
Did you do that?
Yeah. Yep.
It was
Tough guy.
like, oh my word! And do you know that way? I was just like, even like that was even before I'd had like the basic tutorial on how to fire the gun. So I didn't even know how to fire the gun. I'm just kind of running about like, oh, this guy's here, and then he just fired these like amoeba things at me, and that was me dead. And I don't know, like, again, I don't know if that's like just me not picking up on the vibe of what a Metroidvania is supposed to be or whatever. But it would have been nice if I died and then it'd been like, right, here are the buttons that you should use to play the game.
Yeah, you need to go right, and it gives you the tutorial.
Yeah. Well, I found that out, but not until after. Because I thought, right, well, I'm going to, like, because I died, and then I thought, right, well, I'm going to give this guy another shot. And I ended up fighting him 3 times,
Yeah.
just out of pure obstinance.
I think I fought him twice, and I thought, nah, I'm just going to go the other way. So I thought, I'll go left first to have a look what's over there. Oh, it's a guy. Let's see how long it takes to kill him. And then I shot him loads, and it just wasn't dying. So I end up dying, and then I tried again, and I died. And then I left and I came back to him much later, and I kicked his ass.
Oh, did you? Did you manage to kill him?
Yeah.
I didn't go back to him after the second time. I thought, well, I might. Like I'll go down, I'll train a little bit, I'll do the whole montage, and then I'll go back up. But I didn't end up going back up. I ended up just kind of getting lost in the maze of the Metroidvania.
Yeah.
But I think it's a game that if I'll probably try it again. And like I did this with Metroid Dread as well, because Metroid Dread is like the absolute peak of the. I mean, it's a genre defining series.
Yeah.
And Metroid Dread is one of the best examples of that style of game I've ever played. But even that took me like 3 goes to get into, just because I need to be in the right headspace for that kind of vibe and that kind of game. And I don't know if I think maybe it's just like I need to kind of get my head out of my ass a little bit and engage with it a bit more. But I enjoyed it. And it's clearly a well-made game. It's clearly a game that's got an interesting plot and an interesting story and stuff like that as well. So it's there's enough there that I want to go back as well, which is good.
Yeah.
What did you think about it?
I'm enjoying it so far. Like, I don't know how far in you are to say, because like.
Oh, I'm not spoiler averse or anything. Fire ahead.
Well, I've got to the surface in a different area, and there's like people there that you speak to.
Ah, right. So I think you're slightly further ahead than me, because I've been seeing ghosts.
Yeah,
so
I
I'm
have
wondering
as well,
about like, little ghosts kind of wander past, and I'm wondering if like I'm kind of expecting that eventually I'll find out what's going on with that.
I spent ages running around though, lost, right? I went down as far as I could, and then it was blocked off. So then I went back and found different areas, and I kept just going up and down looking, and I realised that where I was coming down, you could go right, and for some reason I just never walked that far over and always went left. And I was like, okay, there was nothing blocking it. You could just see it was a clear path. For some reason, I just completely ignored it. I probably spent like an hour or so just going up and down, working up where the hell I had to go. But I don't understand why I missed such a simple thing to miss. Like,
genuinely, right? I'm wondering if that's what I've been doing, because I've been going up and down and up and down. Like I found a lift. I went up the lift. That was the only place I got any kind of like story related content.
yeah.
So I went up this lift, and there was someone like, my name is Nabble or something like that. I wonder if she'll find me. And I'm like, oh, cool, this is interesting. I'm going to get some story progress when I get out of this lift. I get out of the lift, and it was just a dead end. I was like, oh, right, okay. So like I ended up going back down and running up and down and stuff like that. And I was doing the same as you, just like going up and down and not really knowing where to go. So like I wonder if possibly even just the first section of the game would be slightly better pointing you
Mm.
And I know that's not the point in the Metroidvania. You know, the whole point of the style of game is, you know, here is a maze-like network of areas. Find your way. But even just like a kind of optional um, thing to be like, right, go here first, and then you know, figure it out for yourself after that. And that would probably have engaged me a little bit more. But I think that's just a personal preference thing on my part. I don't think that's the game's fault particularly.
Mm. I'm thinking after you got the LA, you get a new item, maybe a new ability.
I
Yeah.
didn't, and I wonder if I've just completely missed something. Because like I went in, and the elevator went up, I kind of went into a room, and there was just a big kind of wall that looked like it was like alive. Or like you know what I mean? It looked like it had like boils coming out of it or something like that, and there were a couple of enemies which I killed, and then I couldn't figure out how to get through, and there was nothing to pick up on the ground, or I didn't see anything to pick up on the ground,
I'm
so I
not
was just like, nah, I'll
sure
go
if you go
elsewhere.
up the elevator and then you shoot the wall and it breaks.
Oh, then I've made an arse of it, to be totally honest with you.
I'm sure you get like some kind of weird dash ability up there.
I am shocking. Like, I want to be very clear about this as well. I am shocking at Metroidvanias. I'm really crap at them. I love them. I really enjoy them. Like the Metroid series is absolutely phenomenal. But like, I can make a 5-hour game last for like 25 hours just because I have no idea where I'm going and get totally lost.
Yeah. Yeah,
But then that's part of the fun, I suppose.
it is. It is. At the end of the day, you get out of it more for your money, like, you know?
Yeah.
Even if you are looked at the same room for 20 minutes at a time.
just like staring at the walls, like, why can't I figure out what's going wrong? That's basically my life experience at the moment.
So, with the game, how are you finding it in general in the difficulty wise? Because I don't find it's too difficult. At the mic, I don't find it's too difficult most of the time, but certain enemies are a fucking nightmare. And also it's got that Dark Souls style thing where you die and you go back to where you were to collect your nano gel stuff, which is basically currency to upgrade your character and repair your character.
I don't know how I feel about that Dark Souls style like thing as a general point of order, but that's a whole rant for a different day. I've not found it too difficult. Like I'll be honest with you, I picked the easier mode.
Disgusting.
Because I thought, right, well, I just want to. I know absolute casual gamer work there from me, but you know the way I was like, right, I want to experience the game. I don't want to. I don't want my opinion of it to be based on potentially like frustrating, like being frustrated.
Yeah.
Because that'll just annoy me, and then I'll quit after half an hour, and I'll come on and I'll just rant for half an hour about why I'm crap at games, basically. Which, you know, I'm happy to do, but I thought I'll give this a shot, and I'm not finding it like overly difficult. I think I only died, other than the angry guy at the start. I think I only died once, and it was purely my own fault because I was completely unable to, um, basically, like my hands stopped working, and I just made an arse of something. Um, there are some enemies that are a bit of a pain. So like, but it's more just about figuring out how to like angle the shot for them,
Yeah.
like the ones that are kind of flying or in awkward places on the screen. Um, I'm not finding it overly difficult. I think that it might get worse later on, but the first hour or two, I've not had a major issue with it yet.
That's fair. I've died a fair few times against certain enemies. They can be a pain, like these weird ones that jump about with like weird green stuff sticking out of them.
Yes,
They're a
I
nuisance.
got to them. They were a nuisance. Like, but again, I think maybe because I'm playing on the easier mode. I'm not finding it as big a problem. The guys that turn into like spike balls, they're a bit annoying.
Yeah.
Have you seen them?
Yeah.
Um,
there's a fair few enemies in there that are a pain. Later on, like after that section, there's enemies that make this really weird fucking noise and just run after you.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it's like as if someone's going with some weird effects on it or something as they run it through, and it's fucking horrible. To put it bluntly, the sound is fucking horrible. I don't know what it is.
That sounds awful.
It is.
I don't think I've got to that yet, or like I tend to play games with the sound quite low, so maybe I have and I've just not noticed it yet. But I'm trying to think, because I've come across quite a few different types of enemies, like, and I can't really think. I don't think I've come across them yet. I think I would have probably realised.
Yeah, I think they're a bit later. I think they are near where you go to the surface again. Right. I think so, and they're weird because of the noise. The way they just screech at you as they charge at you.
Yeah, that sounds like my worst nightmare in gaming, like screaming death coming at me, just like, no, thank you.
The thing is if you can kill them fairly easy, sort of. They actually do take quite a bit of damage, but my suit level's like level 15-ish. And I've upgraded my gun a fair whack over the upgrades over vigor and something else.
See, I was focusing on the vigor upgrades. So when I was getting upgrades, I was doing the vigor, but I kept forgetting to go and actually upgrade. So I would have like 800, 900, like of the green globule things.
Yeah.
And then just not just not going upgrades. So I'd be walking about wildly under leveled for what I'm doing. Yeah.
Yeah, like you can get different weapons as well.
All right.
Yeah. It's tough getting them.
I can imagine, to be fair. But then I was quite enjoying like the kind of core loop of shoot the gun until the gun starts to drop, and then go in close and get a couple of hits in with the.
To be fair, the loop kind of stays the same. It's more you have the same from what I've played so far. You have the same gun, but you have like an alternate fire. So like A is to shoot, I think, or X is to shoot. I can't remember off the top of my head. And then pressing Y gives you like an alternate fire, and I've got 3 different weapons that I can pick from. For the alternate fire, you get them from different things. And one of them is like decent, the other one is slightly better, and then one of them is interesting too.
Excellent. I look forward to getting them.
Yeah, well, like I said, they're quite tough to get. You will get them. You just need to explore or something. But like one of them is needed to progress in certain areas. The other ones just seem to be beneficial for shooting things.
Yeah.
And doing more damage. But you also get like a melee weapon.
Right.
And instead of then hitting things with your gun, when you shoot in, that heats up as well. So you got longer reach on your melee attacks.
Right.
But it still heats up and does more damage the more heat is generated by the gun.
Ah, that's interesting. Because I was assuming there would be upgrades and stuff like that, but it's nice to hear that there are actually different kind of things that you can do.
Yeah. Like I said, you obviously have the standard gun, and then I've got the 3 other types, but only one of them so far seems to be needed. The other 2 are just more for different types of damage. I could tell you how to get the first one.
Yes, please do. I'm assuming though that the ones that maybe don't seem necessary might come in handy later on in the game.
Well, the first one you get that I got sets things on fire, I think.
Yeah.
Certain enemies on fire, so they take damage from that. So you can shoot them a couple of times, and then they'll be on fire and take damage continuously until they die. Right. You get off the guy at the left at the start of the game.
Oh, really? Do you know, I saw he had a gun. I saw he had a similar gun to me. And I was like, I want that. I was assuming that would be the reward would be some kind of upgrade, but he just kept wasting me. And I was like, oh.
Yeah, you kill him and he drops his gun.
Nice. Excellent.
And then you take it and use it to set things on fire.
Now that I can get on board with.
It comes in handy.
I obviously haven't gone through most of the story on this yet, but I kind of get a vibe about it that it's like I feel I don't know anything about whether or not this is going to be right or wrong or whatever, but like I kind of get the impression that I have crash landed on a planet, gone into stasis or something like that, and now I'm getting up and just kind of shooting at the local inhabitants of the planet, and I almost feel a little bit bad for doing that. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, it does seem that way so far. I can't say that, like, story-wise, I don't know myself, but it does seem like that, doesn't it? It's like, oh, you've just landed, crash landed, and then woken up and just gone murdering things.
Yeah, that's the kind of vibe I'm getting off it, but I don't know if there'll be like a.
No, I agree with you, man. It does seem like that. It's like you suddenly wake up and you're like, oh. Okay, and then you just shoot things.
It's just.
Where am I? Let's go.
If in doubt, shoot it. Just as it is the video game way.
Exactly. Yeah, just shoot everything.
Aye, it's good.
But yeah, it'd be interesting to see where the story goes.
Oh, for sure.
It's like,
for sure.
What is actually going on? Like, why do you see some ghost things?
Yeah, I'm interested to find out what's going on with that. But it feels like it's a kind of 8-hour game, 8 to 10-hour game that I will probably stretch out over like 30.
Well, I did look on how long to beat, and how long to beat just to finish the game. It should take, according to that, it takes 9 hours. I've played it for about 4. Right. And I don't think I'm that far in because I literally spent hours running back and forward in the one spot. Like, where the hell do I go? Oh shit, I need to go this way. Why didn't I see this path?
So that's my experience of it. So I've put 2.5 hours in, and I genuinely don't think I am more than about like what a competent gamer would be like 20 minutes. would take them like 20 minutes, and I'm thinking like if I were any good at this, it would probably be 9 hours. But because I'm not, I'm thinking probably more like 18 to 20.
Yeah. But I'm enjoying it so far, so that's the good thing. Yeah. I like Game Pass, beneficial.
The Game Pass is amazing. See, for just picking up indie classics, it's so strong. Like even just talking to you about which game to play, it's like here's 5 options of games that all look really good, and you know. You pay that, but I think I pay slightly more just because I'm still paying off the Xbox itself. But even 20 quid a month or whatever it is to have access to literally hundreds of games because I'm playing GoldenEye off the Game Pass as well. Like,
yeah,
it's insane value for money, and I'm kind of reticent about streaming as a general thing, but I think that a service like this is, when done right, and it is being done right, is a really strong selling point for a console.
Yeah.
And that's my story. I like being able to just drop in and grab a couple of indie games and battle through them. I've been playing a little bit of, or I started and then stopped a game called Signalis off the Game Pass as well, which is kind of like it gets this kind of like old school Resi vibes a little bit.
Oh, nice.
But like if you've kind of got a free, there are problems with it. It's not a perfect game, but you know. It's another one that if I hadn't seen it on the Game Pass, I just wouldn't have bothered picking it up.
No. with Ghost Song, are you going to go back and play it? Because obviously you haven't finished it, but are you going to crack on with it?
I am going to finish it. I'm kind of, one of my New Year's resolutions is to try and actually finish games that I start.
Yeah.
So I figured that it's got a good enough vibe to it, and it's intrigued me enough that I want to go back and actually see what's going on with it, and learn to play it a bit better as well. So I'll be alternating, I think, between that and GoldenEye for the next few weeks.
Nice.
What
Good
about
games
you?
to go through.
Yeah, I think so. How are you feeling about it? Do you think you'll go back and get it finished?
Yeah, I want to crack on with that. I am enjoying it. There are games that I've played for the podcast that I haven't finished and said, yeah, I'm going to go back to and finish it, and then I haven't managed to do that. This one, I think, as it's meant to be quite short, I'm going to jump back in and crack on with it, and then look at the other games that I've played and see which ones I need to finish and go back to them. There's 2 games in the podcast that I wouldn't go back, that I can think of off the top of my head, that I wouldn't go back and finish. That's Medieval, because I thought it was crap, and Shadow Corridor, which I thought was awful. So there you go.
The original Medieval, like the PlayStation one.
Yeah, I didn't like it.
Really,
it was
I've
the
never
PlayStation
played it.
4 version. The thing is because games have advanced a lot, and it's still because it's like a it's a visual overhaul, but it's basically, it plays very much the same.
Right.
It doesn't feel right when you're in combat. It's like, I don't know, if I had like a lock-on system or something, I'd have been fine with it, but it doesn't. And it's like, you're run in, swing your sword, and run away, and hopefully not get hit. And I just didn't like the style of it.
Does it feel of its time? Does it kind of, because the Medieval must be what, like 96, 97, something like that?
Yeah, it does. It's I think it's got like improved controls compared to the PlayStation version. Yeah, but it's still just
very much
of its
time.
Yeah,
because like GoldenEye, I'm sorry to kind of pull it back to that, but like GoldenEye feels of its time, but it also kind of, like, it's been changed enough control wise that it doesn't, like, it kind of doesn't feel like a bad thing, if that makes sense. But I get the vibe that what you're saying with Medieval, it's kind of like games have moved on to such a point that this is kind of obsolete now, it's kind of irrelevant.
Yeah.
And you get that with some classic games, like they might have been brilliant in 96, 97 or whenever they came out, but you can't, like, it's difficult to go back having experienced the evolution of that style of play, you know?
Yeah, exactly. Like, it's a shame, because it was actually like it was quite funny at times, and like visually it's nice and got a cool atmosphere in that. It's just combat wise, I couldn't be asked.
No, fair enough.
The game that me and Genuel spoke about, actually, and Genuel felt exactly the same. So it's not just me.
Right, but then this is a man who doesn't like Banjo-Kazooie, so I can't take his opinion as gospel. You I trust, Genuel.
Yeah, but Genuel, while he's wrong 95% of the time, he is right 5% of the time.
Broken clocks and all that. Nah, I love Genuel. He's a good chap. And you know, if both of you kind of had that view on it, then it's probably not something that it's probably something that kind of permeates quite widely as well.
Yeah, but like I said, it's not a bad game. It's just it doesn't feel good. The combat doesn't, because of it's kind of archaic, like, you know. It's not bad. Sure. It's just not for me, I would say.
I think that's fair, and like I'm like that with loads of games. Like, I'll start stuff that has been critically acclaimed and just be like, do you know what? It's clearly good, or, you know, it clearly has some value for somebody, but it's not for me.
Yeah. I think that's going to be us then, as we've been going for nearly an hour. And yeah, so I would like to thank you for taking part.
I would like to thank you for having me.
No problem at all, dude. Is there anything you'd like to plug? Twitch stream, YouTube channel, Twitter? Anything
Not
at all?
at the moment. At the moment, I am advertising free, Pedz. I will eventually go back to Twitch, but not right at this moment.
All right, dude.
But I will plug your Twitch channel because it's wonderful.
Oh,
Everyone should
so
watch
sweet.
Pedz on Twitch. I am sweet, that's right. But also, I'm not wrong on this one. You're an absolute pleasure to watch most of the time. And when I say most of the time, I mean all of the time.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, good to chat to you, dude.
Yeah, it's been a fun having you on, dude. But with that, we are going to say goodbye and thank you for listening.